Now at 11, a mess in Corvallis after a bridge collapses under a freight train.
I have no idea how they're going to clean this up.
Plus, one teacher facing even more charges in the ongoing sex abuse scandal in St. Helens. And later, the growing frustrations at an affordable housing complex that's gone a month without working elevators.
I thought it was like a semi going by with a bunch of metal in the back of it. It was so loud. And then it happened again.
A huge mess and ecological concern in Corvallis after a train trestle collapses, sending at least one train car carrying fertilizer into the river. Good evening, I'm John Adams. The bridge collapsed around noon today, derailing at least 3 cars. Our Devin Haskins is live in Corvallis at Avery Park. Now, Devin, walk us through what we know.
Well, John, we still don't know what caused the trestle to collapse. And good news, though, is that there were no injuries when that train went into the river. Although we don't know how much of that fertilizer that was in those spilled cars made its way into the Marys River.
In the dark, crews continue to assess the damage hours after a train trestle collapsed under the weight of a freight train.
So I was just sitting on my couch and it sounded like it was right outside my window. I quickly looked through my window.
David Livingston lives nearby and ran outside to see what it was. He wasn't alone.
I came over here and there was people standing around. The sheriff came by to look at it, take videos, and it's just a huge mess.
The train belonged to Portland and Western Railroad. Spokesperson says 19 cars of a freight train were crossing the river when it fell into the water around noon on Saturday. One of the cars, that was seen almost completely submerged, was carrying urea, a water-soluble nitrogen-based fertilizer. 2 other train cars could be seen dangling on the edge of the Marys River.
I have no idea how they're going to clean this up. And yeah, this is huge.
Also in the river, portions of the trestle bridge covered in burn marks from a fire in 2022. Investigators at the time determined the fire was human-caused in an accident. And it was so hot at the time it warped the train tracks. This photo posted by Corvallis Fire.
Seems like we all knew that the bridge was on fire a couple years ago. Didn't seem like it was sound structurally, and I guess that's a lot of weight to put on a old crickety bridge.
A Corvallis police officer and others living nearby tell KGW that trains continued to run across the bridge after the fire. Now all that's left are remnants of a bridge and a huge mess of train cars left to clean up.
An environmental cleanup crew was called in to gather any of that fertilizer that may have spilled into the river from those spilled train cars. We don't know how much fertilizer did or if any made it into the river. We also tried to reach out to the owner of the train and the trestle bridge here, but our phone calls and emails were not returned. We were trying to get information about the bridge's inspection history and the stability of it. John, back to you.
Our Devin Haskins live tonight in Corvallis. Devin, thank you so much for that update and your reporting tonight. Well, turning now to weather, it definitely has been a wet start to 2025, and that's been especially true for the start of the first weekend of the new year. Meteorologist Joe Ranieri is here with us to let us know if that rain's going to continue into tomorrow. Joe?
Hey, it's early January. You know it's going to continue heading into tomorrow. The nice thing is, though, John, tomorrow morning will be dry, and a good portion of the the first half of the day is going to be dry. This is going to be kind of the tail end of the showers that we're going to be seeing the rest of your Saturday night, but we'll be seeing those showers pick up at times, spotty here and there in the early morning hours. But you go over the Oregon Cascades, you are going to be seeing some heavy snow, but this is what we've seen here the last 2 days throughout the metro area. Well over an inch of rain really up and down the I-5 corridor. Just today we've seen about 0.6 of an inch of rain. Over in Tillamook, over 2 inches of rain in the last 2 days. And not far behind that is Astoria at almost 2 inches basically. The other thing we're looking at is the winter weather advisory throughout the Oregon Cascades. So far about 1/2 foot of snow has fallen, but it's kind of that wet snow, so it's not accumulating as much as I think skiers and snowboarders would like. But looking at the futurecast tomorrow morning, we stay dry. Late afternoon, early part of the evening tomorrow, we'll be seeing another round of rain that carries over into tomorrow night and into Monday. But I have some good news in the extended forecast. I'll talk more about that in just a few minutes.
All right, Joe, thank you. Well, an update now to the sexual abuse scandal in St. Helens. Police there have arrested high school teacher Eric Stearns again on additional charges. Stearns has already been indicted on 8 counts of sexual abuse after being arrested in November. After reaching out to the public, detectives learned of 8 more victims. On Thursday, Stearns was indicted for 11 more counts of sexual abuse. Detectives are concerned there still may be more victims out there. If you have any information, call St. Helens detectives at 503-397-1521. Salem police detectives are investigating what they're calling a suspicious death after a body was found in a vacant lot. Officers found the body around 10 Friday morning near Lancaster Drive, Southeast, and Saddle Club. Detectives are working to identify the person. An autopsy by the state medical examiner will determine their cause of death. In Eugene, one person is dead after they were hit by a car early Friday morning. It happened just before 3:30 when someone called 911 over a person lying in the middle of the road at West 11th Avenue in Oak Patch Road. That person was taken to the hospital but died of their injuries. Officers were able to contact the driver, who returned to the scene and presumably spoke to officers. The investigation is ongoing. Oregon health officials are reporting 2 children died late last month from the flu, and we're not even halfway through the flu season just yet. The state medical director for communicable diseases said flu season could be peaking right about now. The season typically starts on October the 1st, and so far the virus has sent almost 500 people to the hospital in the Tri-County area. Just under half of those are over the age of 65. State health officials are concerned about the low vaccination rate this year.
Our influenza vaccination rate this year, to date, is down about 4% from where we were last year. About 26% of Oregonians have been vaccinated to date, according to our immunization registry records.
Washington state health officials are also reporting a bad flu season with 5 adult deaths so far. Residents at a Portland affordable housing complex are frustrated after being trapped in their own apartment for weeks. They say both elevators in the building have been out since December the 11th after someone opened the fire line, flooding 3 floors of the building.
With so many people in walkers and wheelchairs, some people that I know of that are bedridden and they cannot get out their house, they cannot walk the stairway.
Now, this is at Y East Plaza in Southeast Portland. Reach Community Development, which runs the complex, says the elevators were rendered inoperable due to the flooding. However, there's little word on progress after some have spent weeks stuck in their apartments. One woman who lives on the 2nd floor says she fell down the stairs on Christmas Day.
Get the elevators fixed. Address people that live here. Be human.
Management says they don't have a timeline for repairs. The service provider, TK Elevator Corporation, told KGW they're actively working with building officials, but have to wait for everything to dry before they can do a safe assessment. Portland fire investigators are looking into what caused a fire early this morning at an abandoned building in Southeast Portland. Crews were called just before 3 to the building that used to house the Venue Gentlemen's Club at Southeast 99th Avenue in Washington. They saw heavy smoke coming from the building. Took about 20 minutes to get the fire under control. No injuries were reported. The cause is under investigation.